Well, hello everyone. Now, excuse me if something doesn't go right or sound right. I have a whole pile of new technology for the podcast and the vlogs, and I am just learning how to use them. So please bear with me while I learn how to do this crap. So thank you so much for taking the time out to join me today. If you're new to the blog podcast, please head over to our social media pages on Twitter, Facebook, Tumblr, and Instagram. There I will update you on crimes that we have covered or crimes that we will be discussing in future segments. I would also I wish to invite you to send me any cases you would like for me to cover in future podcasts or vlogs. If there's a case that you really want to know more about, just pop on over to Facebook, go to either F'd Up True Crime, EFFED, True Crime, or you can go to KL Lee Author and shoot me a friend request, and I always accept. And just let me know if there is a case that you would like me to cover. Okay, so also don't forget that my debut true crime book will be out on the 29th of this month. So in 2 weeks? Yeah, 2 weeks I think it is. 2 weeks tomorrow, I think. And it's called Mummy, I Thought You Loved Me. So, and it is going to be a harrowing tale, absolutely, about all these children that have been abused or have ended up murdered by people, not so much just mums, but people that were put in charge of children, and kids that thought that these people would protect them. And it's not going to be an easy read, but they deserve to have a voice. They deserve to have their stories told so that we can try, I mean, it's an impossibility to look at, but to try to stop these things from happening. I know that it's a big ask and it's a big reach, but maybe someone sees something and goes, oh crap, I'm doing that, I need to get help. But they deserve not to be forgotten about either. I know a lot of people try to move on with their lives when things happen, and I know I have, but a lot of people can't. They can't bring themselves to, because there was so much going on as a child. And yeah, they deserve to have a voice. Right, so today's subject is it's a tough one, completely tough. I could not believe my eyes when I came across these two cases. So yeah, we'll be looking into two because they were just so similar. It was eerie. It felt like the only difference was they were in different countries to one another. It's really, I couldn't believe it when I came across it. They are two cases of child abuse and neglect that resulted in the death of 2 3-year-olds, which should never happen. Accidents happen, yes, but neglect, there's no excuse for neglect. So I would like to give a trigger warning because some people can't handle these sorts of stories, and that is fair enough because no one wants to upset anyone here, especially not me. And look, if you don't think you can handle listening, please turn us off. I won't blame you. I won't, I won't be upset, that's for sure. Your mental health comes first before anything. It's far more important than me getting likes and views on YouTube. It's just, if we get them, we get them. That's wicked, thank you. But when it comes to mental health, I very much believe that people need to have self-preservation. at all times. You need to get yourself out of any circumstance that could upset you, that could cause you any harm, or harm to yourself. That's not on. That needs to be first. So our first case today came out of Tokyo, Japan, and it's a very recent case. Both are, and it took place between the 5th and the 13th of June last month in 2020. So we're in July, so that's, very, 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 very soon. So there won't be a lot. I've got the majority of the details, but they're keeping a tight lid on this one. It took place between 5th and 13th of June, as I stated. 24-year-old mother, Saki Kakehashi, was arrested and taken in for questioning for neglecting her 3-year-old daughter, Noah. According to local detectives, Saki and her daughter lived alone in an apartment complex in Tokyo's Ota ward. They lived together there on their own since July 2017, following Saki's divorce to Noah's father. So it must have been just before she was born, that they separated, if I have done my maths correctly, which I'm pretty sure I have. But it's understood that Saki was known for leaving her daughter alone while going to work or just out on the town for the night. But on the 5th of last month, Saki left her 3-year-old daughter, Noah, home for 8 days while she travelled 600 miles away from her apartment, away from the apartment where her daughter was, to visit her new boyfriend/lover. So 600 miles. It was something like a 2-hour flight, I read in one report. Who goes on a 2-hour flight for 8 days and leaves their child alone? I'll never understand people like this. I'll never understand the psyche and the mental capacity behind these awful, awful, heinous crimes. I will never get it. Now, a friend of Saki's told police she would leave home for several days, usually returning at night, while her daughter was unattended. And wouldn't you think that if a friend had knowledge of the fact that the child was alone for this time, that someone would call welfare or have a welfare check done through police, instead of just, telling the police about it after? I mean, yeah, I would just have to be told that a child is by themselves for 10 minutes and I'm getting the cops down there. Let me tell you, you don't do that. So it seems that no one was looking out for this child. No one gave a rat's ass about this kid. The autopsy revealed that little Noah's stomach was empty. However, she didn't appear to be thin, overly thin. But it also stated in the autopsy that she didn't have any open wounds, which surprises me considering she was on her own for 8 days. 3-year-olds try to climb everything. 3-year-olds try to get into places that they can't get out of. They scratch themselves. They have the occasional bruise. So how is this child alone for 8 days and not a scratch? To me, it tells me that this child must have passed away fairly early on in this 8-day trip. Well, in the mother's 8-day absence. Her cause of death was put down as severe dehydration and malnourishment. She also suffered from a horrible rash on her bottom with open blisters. Any of us that have had children know what nappy rash can look like, and let me tell you, it's not pretty. And for a child to have the same nappy on for so long, or diaper, depending on where you live in the world, it's a horrible rash that can only be cured by either letting their bum free for a while without being encapsulated in a nappy, or cream, vitamin cream. So the toddler was only wearing her nappy / diaper when she was found, and it was clear it hadn't been changed in days, of course. But to top things off, the house was littered with both trash and feces. So this child was living in squalor, alone. Who knows what she tried to eat? Police announced that they suspected that Saki both neglected and abused the toddler on many occasions leading up to her death. When interviewed, Noah's daycare centre stated that the little one had not attended daycare where she was booked in for well over a year. My best guess is that entire year she was left alone when her mother went off to do whatever it was she wanted to do, and maybe childcare fees were the reason that there was no more daycare. It wouldn't surprise me. In the beginning, during her voluntary questioning with police, Saki said she thought it would be all right to leave her child alone in the apartment, but she did deny leaving the child for 8 days. She claimed it was only a few hours. While investigating, police found that there were no reports whatsoever filed in regards to 3-year-old Noah in reference of treatment of the tot with any child welfare services. None. No police inquiries, no health checks, no one bothered to. It seems that a lot of people around her knew what she was doing and knew that what she was doing was wrong, but no one went out of their way to make a complaint, which says so much about them to me. No one, not one person was looking out for this child, not even the child's mother. I don't know where the child's father was in all of this. I have not been able to find out anything about the father. And I've really tried, but because it's a developing investigation, things can be hard to get a hold of in the beginning, as I've explained in the previous podcast that we had. So it could just be that once they divorced, that was it. They were literally separate ways, and that was it. Nothing else. After Saki's shifts at work, where she worked as a bartender and a waitress, it's reported she'd stay up partying with friends until dawn, leaving little Noah alone in the apartment. It also came out that the tot was left alone for 3 entire days back in May of 2020, so 2 months ago, while the mother went away for another quick holiday. I don't know if it was to this new lovers, it doesn't say, but she went away. So as it seems, at least this is how it seems to me, is she figured that the child survived 3 days, so why not extend that to 8? That's all I can put it down to.